Welcome back to This Week in Indies. One of our many tools within our Pro Toolbags is the in-person sales, specifically at conventions. However, not all conventions are created equal. Not all equate to direct sales. So how do you develop a strategy to maximize any opportunity? What are the good investments to help foster the opportunities? We'll discuss this and more. Then we have the best of the Indie Connection with C.L. Cannon as she gives you indie books you might enjoy if you're a fan of Suzanne Collins' Hunger Games series. Finally, I try to play a little magic with our panel through 20 questions in our epilogue. So grab a cup of coffee, stretch those fingers, and get ready to talk about how to sell at conventions and play in the con game with your host, Joe Compton. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, y'all. Welcome to This Week in Indies. I really appreciate y'all being here. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a good crowd, we got a good panel. I'm real excited about today. We're going to be talking the con game, the long and short of it, and I've got an incredible group here with me. Let's take a look at this wonderful, wonderful dais and the beautiful people that I have. I'm so excited. This is going to be a really great show, everybody, because I really needed this morning, because this morning's been kind of a NASCAR train wreck for me. So, but enough of that. All that behind. We are here. We're doing this. It's awesome. So let's meet the peoples. JD, start us off.
Greetings, fellow humans. My name is JD Estrada. If I'm not your favorite Puerto Rican indie author, I should be, or you should read me and give me a chance. I write a whole variety of genres. I have 22 books out, and I'm also a banana secret agent because people like to see me play with my banana.
Oh, I know that kind of show. Okay.
And
only bananas.
And the six after you.
Okay. Hi, I am Nikki.
Follow that.
I can't. I have no bananas. So genetically incapable of doing that. My name is Nikki Nelson Hicks. I am an author of a plethora of things. I write from horror to steampunk to weird western to Sherlock Holmes. Basically, if you give me a contract and tell me what you want, I will give it to you because that's my job. There we go.
Yes. All right. It's going to be one of those shows, y'all. All right, Sean.
Hello, everyone. I'm S.M. Hillman, professionally, and I write speculative fiction, design RPGs, and am a host of this show on occasion and other shows here on the Go Indie Now Network.
It's nice to have you as a panelist. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, Mr. Meeks.
Hey, everybody. Ben Meeks. I write urban fantasy series about a werewolf hunting demons in North Georgia, and currently working on a sci-fi lit RPG series called Pax 7. I also am a woodworker and pin turner. Find me at Chisel and Quill.
Nice. All right, and we have the best for last here with Miss Nettles.
Oh, wow, you put a lot on me there, man. Jessica Nettles. Steampunk, Southern peculiarities, Southern Gothic horror. I don't know. I crochet. I have cats. See what I do on JessicaNettlesAuthor.com and on Facebook. And yeah, let's do this.
And she game mastered for us on Hit the Dice at one point, and so yeah,
I'm looking forward to doing that again. That was fun.
Yeah, we'll have to do that again. All right, everybody. So, all right. I want to know, to start the conversation, when you're choosing a con, what is the first thing that you look for in choosing a con? What is it, the very first thing? We're talking about con that you've never been to. I know there's a lot of legacy cons that you all attend, that you've been to numerous times and times over. We'll talk about that. But let's say there's some new cons popping up. You're looking for a new con next year to attend. What is the first thing you're looking for now, as you are now, not as you were starting out, but what is the first thing you right now are looking for when you're looking at a new con?
Well,
You start first,
I'll go
JD.
first.
I can see it in your eyes. You've got something to say.
No,
You
the
got
thing is that
answers.
I wanted to be part of this panel so that I could get your answers because
Oh.
I've been trigger shy since 2019.
Oh.
I've done the Puerto Rico
Ooh.
Comic Con since 2014. I do well in that event. Some people are like, "You're my first stop." I've been able to nurture that relationship with them. I did some research way back in the day, meaning 6 years ago, way back in the day.
It is back in the day. It's before the pandemic. So.
Okay, so yeah, in olden times when I didn't have to wear a face mask to most places. Anyways, so I went to different places. I saw different cons. I went to Jordan Con. I went to Dragon Con, and I went to the Atlanta Comic Con. And the one that felt most similar to Puerto Rico was the Atlanta Comic Con, but I didn't factor in a bunch of things. So, in terms of what I'm looking for, first off is cost of booth for it to be accessible. Second off, for the location to make sense. Third off, for it to be a city that makes sense, because some people do well in certain cities, but if you don't have readers, or the con is not, it doesn't do well for readers. I've heard people give me mixed reviews for MegaCon in Orlando, to give you an example. People say that if you sell your wares and Funko Pops and other stuff like that, and artwork and actually commissions, you do really well, and books not so much. But I've heard 2 or 3 writers say, "Oh, I always do well there," which I wonder why. So I went to Atlanta Comic Con, and it was a bust for a variety of reasons that we can get into later. But for me, it's like cost, accessibility, flexibility in case I want to share the booth with someone else, and it's something that I want to factor. Those are all things that make sense, and to see that people get actively interested in the event, because sometimes they push it with advertising, but
sometimes they
people don't care.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes they don't. Yeah.
Jordan Con is a small con, but I would do that event because people who go to Jordan Con are hardcore, and they go and they want to make that event special. That's an event that I want to do, and I have to figure out how I do it.
Because I agree. For me, it's cost, accessibility, also history. If this is a brand new con, I want to know more about what you have prepared. Because recently I had a person come to me and ask me to be part of their con. And I'm asked, she wanted me to do panels. I'm like, great. Well, okay. So what kind of panels are you doing? Oh, I don't know. What do you want to do? I'm like, oh no. Oh, no, 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 no. That means you have not prepared anything. I have done cons where I was told I was going to be on a panel. I get there. It's not a panel. It's me talking to a. Okay, I was expecting a panel. That to me means it's not well prepared, not well organized. I don't. I need to know a history behind it. I will ask other authors, hey, how well did you do? How the people behind it? I'll try to know the people behind it because I want to know who it is who's putting this on and can I trust them? 'Cause that's a big thing too. But also accessibility is big too. What state are they in? I try to stay local, but there's not a lot in Tennessee other than Southern Festival Books. You've got some stuff in Knoxville. I hear CreepyCon isn't that good for authors. It's great for art and stuff, but not for authors. Southern Festival Books is coming up in a couple of weeks, and that's always great for books because people are going to the Southern Festival of Books for books. But it's an outdoor event, so you've got that to consider as well. Outdoor events are always iffy. Books and rain do not mix. That just doesn't happen. Yeah, that's basically it. I need to know history. I need to know how much it's going to cost because cons, you rarely ever make a. Okay, I have rarely ever made a profit at a convention. I am really happy just to break even because you have to really decide why you're going to this convention. Are you going to sell books and a capitalistic adventure and sell books? Are you going to actually meet people, make connections with other writers, other authors, other publishing houses and agents and whatnot? Or you're just going to have a good time? Because there are some cons that are party cons. I mean, it's what happens after the con that's the real party. And those I want to go home. I'm old. At 10 o'clock, I want to go to bed. I'm tired. I've been up and putting on the face for 12 hours. I have no desire to go drinking with the boys at 3 a.m. So, but that's those kind of cons.
Yeah. For me, it's cost, just like everybody else. Cost. How much does it cost? Because I mean, I have a day job. I also have bills, so I have to consider. Can I spend $400 to go to this convention, or do I know somebody who can possibly comp me a badge, or can I get in as a guest so I don't have to pay for that badge and can use that money somewhere else?
Right.
Also, distance, because I'm still doing a lot of local stuff. I don't travel out of state. I've done one thing out of state this year, and that was actually for me, and that was Saga, and it was more of a writing conference. And I did that mostly for me. I didn't do any sales there, primarily because I wanted to go and get some polish on my writing chops. Not that I'm not good at this, because I'm very good at this, but we're always learning, right?
Always.
So I wanted to get some educational stuff going on and to network, which is what I did there. And that's another thing is, once again, what's your goal for this conference? Am I going to go sell things? Am I going to network? Sometimes it's both. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Sometimes I go to conferences just to network.
Yeah,
I
that's
may
what-
not have my own table. I may not buy my own table. So, for instance, I'm going to Multiverse. Hi, Vanessa. I'm going to Multiverse in about 2 weeks. I don't have my own table because my publisher is going to be there in full force. So he's going to have my stuff on the table. I'm going there to network. I'll be behind the Falstaff table, probably selling too. But I go to network. I go to see people like JD so I can get hugs, and go to see Ben so I can get hugs, and see Joe so I can get hugs. And also so I can talk to people and pick their brains and maybe get into a few anthologies, or just go and visit people that I don't get to see because they live across the universe from me.
Yeah.
So you have to have goals in mind when you're going to con. Am I going to go visit? Am I going to get in as a guest? And that's a whole other process. And so am I going to guest, and am I going to visit? Or am I just going there to sell?
Mhm.
And what are your goals when you're going to sell? My goal is always, let's try to make table.
Yeah,
If I'm
make
going to be in
table.
a convention, am I going to make table? If I look at the price of the table and I realize, yeah, probably not going to make table, then I'm not going to buy a table. I'll find another way to do this. Right. So you have to look at it from that regard. And there are ways to work out where it can be beneficial for you, no matter if you go to sell, or if you go as a guest, or if you go just to network, or 2 out of the 3 of those things. That's my view.
And also set realistic expectations. Sometimes people go like, "Oh, well, I can sell this." Dude, be realistic or pessimistic. Don't be optimistic when it comes to cons, because
I try to be extremely level. I don't think I'm going to go in and people are going to suddenly build a road to me. No, I'm just happy if someone comes to comes to your table. Always be nice. Always be sweet. Always be very kind. Because there's certain cons you will do that people will come up to you and start telling you, "Hey, I've got this great idea for a story. Let me tell you my idea for a story. You write it, and we'll split And they'll start telling you their story, and they just kind of hog your table. You're kind of like, you have to listen, be very polite, and try to get them. Or just experiences that I've had. Maybe it's just my face. People just tell me things, but all the time it happens to me.
All right, Ben.
Yeah.
Educate us.
So I have a different take on a lot of what people are said here. So to answer the question, my primary concern is cost, like everybody else. But I'm a full-time author. I don't advertise online. I make my money doing events.
Wow.
So
Cool.
it kind of baffles me when people say, "Oh, you can't make money selling in person," or "I just try to break even." That if I'd be out of business.
How do
You know what I mean?
it?
Well, there's a lot of things. I wrote
Tell
a book
me,
about it.
please. I'm taking notes because I'm obviously not doing any of the things.
Yeah, I mean, first I'd say it's a business mindset, right? I mean, you guys are talking about, well, why, are you going to network and, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's all good. When I go to a con, I go to sell. All right. I'm making that money. Because if I don't, I'm out of business and I got to go get a day job again. Right.
Which makes sense. Yeah.
So, how do you do it? Though there's a lot of things to it. It's not just one thing. So I'll give you one right now. So the picture, this side.
The Keeper Chronicles.
There it is. The Keeper Chronicles. So that's my complete series. That's an omnibus. All right. It's a trilogy. And that used to be my main moneymaker. And then my new Lit RPG series, I'm outselling it, which is bad for me, which I can talk about as well. So it's 3 books. I have a short story in it. I've bundled it all together into one volume that I can upsell someone to, right? So that's $38. So before my Lit RPG, most of my sales were omnibus, $38 a pop, right? I could go more. I could get 40 for it easily, but I don't, just because you know what I mean. I don't know. That's just who I am. I'm not trying to rip people off or anything. So I end up making an extra. I think the numbers were about $750, selling the omnibus versus selling the books individually. Right. So I've positioned it in a way to upsell people to it. I don't even carry book 2 and 3. I mean, there's no point. So make it such a good deal that people buy it. And then now I'm getting close to $40 to most people that I talk to. Right. So that's one strategy. But yeah.
How important do you think
John?
panels are?
Well, for me, not.
Really?
I mean, I say that it's back and forth. So the thing about panels are you have to, if you're not contributing to the panel a lot, right? If you're a quiet, introverted person and you're not garnishing that attention from people, don't do panels because you're not going to get anything from them, right? You'll do better just to stay at the table and sell. But
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you can make the panel pay off, it can pay off big.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, I was at, which one was that? Con Carolinas. I do a lot of events. I was at Con Carolinas. I weaseled my way onto a panel with Matt Denneman, right? And at the beginning of the panel, I wasn't supposed to be on it, but hey, I got on it. So at the beginning of the panel, somebody said, "Oh, Ben, he makes great pens. Go check it out." And then, I talked about my Lit RPG. When I got out of that panel, I had a line at the table. I did half of my sales for the event in the next hour, right? Yeah. So that panel paid off. Most of the time, they don't pay off for me, and so I'm not big on panels. I'll do them, but it depends.
Because like you said, if you have a good personality, if you're very extroverted and you're very good on a panel, because I remember going to a panel once and there was a guy there. He was great. He was funny. He was articulate. He seemed to know his stuff. I said, I must get this guy's book. And I took all over the place trying to find his book, and it was bad. It was awful. It wasn't edited. The stories were stupid. They weren't good at all. And I thought, that's the difference. If you can be a really good face, doesn't mean your product's always going to be good.
Right.
But,
it wasn't mine, was it?
No, it was not yours. I would not.
That's a terrible segue to bring Sean into this conversation.
I know.
His book is really good.
There was no one here, but he was a great panelist, and he's on a lot of panels. But hopefully he's gotten better. I don't know. This was about 4 years ago, but 3 after this pandemic. But he's really nice. I've been on panels with him before, but his book, no editing.
Right.
Editing is really important, guys. Editing.
All right.
That's
another
that's
show
a whole
for
other
another
thing.
day.
But no, I just find that interesting. People who do a lot of panels, does it really affect your sales? Because I found it sometimes not. It all depends what the panel's about.
Yeah. All right, Sean, what do you think?
So I also have a slightly different point of view because I'm transitioning from being a volunteer to being going there for sales and things like that. So, but one of the things that's important to me when choosing a convention is if there's a diverse group of both creators, creators, and the convention organizers. If they all look like me, I'm not interested. That's and there are several famous cons where that's the case, right? So I'm not interested in that convention because I'm not interested in. I'm sure I could sell books to them or whatever, but I'm not interested in interacting necessarily with the people who support that. And then secondly, I think is probably, do I know other people who are going? That makes it a lot easier to, if you know someone. Oh no, Ben's gone. If you know someone, there, even if you're not selling at the same table as they are, you can, at least you have someone to socialize with. So those are the primary two for me. Cost, obviously, is if I can't afford to go, I'm not going. But so those are the important things for me.
Awesome.
And also, I've seen some people that, to Nikki's point, their books aren't great, but they can sell. And Atlanta Comic Con,
hell yeah!
I learned a lot from a guy who was very kind. He was very generous with his time, and he gave me tips on stuff that I could do just to be a better seller. And I'm super thankful. And we exchanged books, and I read his book, and it's like, man, I really wanted to love it. But so as a writer, he's not my cup of tea. Let's put it that way. But as a seller, because my table, people came, they talked, but they often wouldn't take a book. And I was like, what's going on? And this guy, he always closed the deal somehow. And he had a great weekend, and it was a nice slice of humble pie that I have to adjust, and I also have to offer other things if I'm going to do more of this. If I'm going to do other concepts, it can't just be books. He had a lot of swag, and when he saw that people were like, with the books, he took them to the swag, and bam, he got what would have been a zero sale for me. He got 35, 40, 50, 60 bucks out of someone, and it's like, whoa.
How? By the swag? I mean, I have tons of swag, and
I saw him. Trust me, the guy had, in terms of selling, he had game, and he was just really good.
I need game. Okay.
He wasn't steal from Glengarry Glen Ross.
Well, so, I mean, I remember one time I had all my books out at a table, and people would come up to my table, and they would ask, and they would look, and they would go, "Okay, I'll be back," with these big, huge cow eyes, and they would walk away. And a person came. She's a publicist, and she came over to me. She says, "You know what your problem is? You've got paralysis analysis. That's your analysis paralysis. That's your problem. People are coming to your table, are seeing too much, and not knowing what to do, and then walking away." I'm like, okay, so what should she said? Slim down. Have only what you think will appeal to the crowd in this place. If you're going to go to a romance place, you don't bring horror. If you're going to go to science fiction, you don't bring you don't bring Sherlock Holmes. It's just whatever you think that people in this group are going to like, you bring that. I'm like, because I was just bringing all the things. And I learned that. So I keep trying to remember that. Try to not overwhelm people. So I think that's a really important marketing scheme, but
we have some really great comments too, everybody. Vanessa mentioned big Comic Cons are generally hit or miss for authors. I think they often are very expensive to get booth at, so you have to have a lot of product to make your money back. JD says also word of mouth. Some cons have done some terrible things in the last couple of years, and bad enough for you to say no thanks.
Yes.
And then Vanessa says the soft benefits factor is in my decision too. Like Jessica said, if a con has programming for people that I think can benefit me, that'll factored into, and I might even go just even if I don't break even. Margaret says she's putting her toe back in the water. Congratulations, Margaret. Hopefully that works out. For anybody in that Portland area, it's December 8th that she's going to be there. Yes, having sales at your table is important. If people can get a deal, they're much more likely to buy. I also think having things completed, and Ben, you can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I think having, especially with omnibuses, that shows a completion factor. I think people are a lot more apt to pull the trigger right then and there because it's completed and not, For some reason,
So-
people don't want to invest in stuff anymore. They just want to do, they
I blame
want
binging. I blame binging. I blame
Yeah,
Netflix.
that's probably
So-
a
Yeah.
good blame there. But yeah.
Yeah, mine. I ended my series at 3 books as a trilogy, specifically as a marketing decision. Because I mean, I would sell a lot individual books, but I got to the point where, if I didn't have another book or more books, or let me say this more concisely: having a completed series sells a lot better than
Exactly. Do you have this?
you know what I mean. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
My Jake Yishtinheji, I put all of his books into I have 2 omnibuses because there's 6 stories in each omnibus is 3 stories for the whole Jake Yishtinheji New Orleans saga. And yeah, I often sell those, and I tell people, you buy 2 Jakes, you get a gun for free, because I have a very small Barrington gun story that goes along with the Jake Yishtinheji universe, and that kind of 2 Jakes and a gun for free, it gets eyes. It gets like, what? And that helps a lot.
What do you mean, like a real good? I'm
They
sure
do,
that
I
question
swear.
come
It
up.
depends how far south you go. I found further south, they ask, "We mean a real gun?" If I go up further or go up north, they go, "Oh no, a gun?" Because no,
Mhm.
That's a topic I want to get into, the regional.
I mean, it's just
regions.
come on. It's this little book with a, or they'll ask me, "Oh, is it a goose? Is the goose the detective?" No, the goose is not the detective.
All right, and then Vanessa says
anyway.
whether panels work for me often depends on very much where my sales table is in relation to the panel, or whether books I have with me are to sell. Yeah,
Yes.
If you especially like a Dragon Con and you're
So
selling,
huge.
if you're selling in America's Mart and you have to go to a panel, good luck. I hope you make it.
Yeah.
For real.
I've been at a table with someone who was a very aggressive salesperson, and people were like buying from him. It was enlightening, because I only have a couple books. Has often been the make or break in terms of making a profit. Yeah, I sat at Vanessa's table at Jordan Con, and I can tell you, the amount of people came up looking at bookmarks and stuff like that was a real eye opener for me. And the way Vanessa sells it was very brilliant. I really enjoyed that education. So if you get a chance to see Vanessa G at a table,
I will study her. I study tables. Like when I go to a con, I study tables. I look to see what kind of backdrop they have, what they're using, how they bring people in. I find it very. I have I have a free little book that I give to people. If they don't try this, if you like this story, if you like this kind of stuff, come back and you can read the rest of my stuff. And it's worked a couple of times.
Nice.
Mostly, I find people will take pictures of my table and then go on Amazon and buy my books, which is like, that's great, thanks, but I don't want to take this stuff home. Please buy my books. So
Vanessa's point brings up an interesting thing for you, Ben. Do you find people are there either to just buy pens or books, or can you, or do you find that it's a combination of both, where somebody would go, "Ooh, I want a pen," but then then you sell them on a book? Is the pen your kind of tchotchke to get them involved into what you're doing, or do you find that people who are buying pens are just there to buy the pens?
Most of the time, people that buy pens just buy pens, right? But my pens are, I mean, they're not cheap, so you know what I mean. I do well with those. But I mean, I don't really talk about my pens unless they bring it up, right? I sell books. That's my primary thing. So everybody that comes up hears about my books, regardless of what they came up to the table for.
Yeah.
So,
And Margaret brought up a good point. She blames the phenomenon on George R. R. Martin and Patrick Rothfuss. Readers are weird. Yeah, I mean, George R. R. Martin really screwed us all with that. But look, hey, I'll be the first to defend him and say that, look, you're talking to a guy who writes like the Olympics every 4 years. I put out a new book. So you have to be, I'm Metallica when it comes to book writing. I'll put out an album. I'll put out a book. It'll be meaningful when I put it out there, but it takes me time, people, because if you didn't know, I have other things going on, just a little bit of other stuff going on. So finding the time to write, which is one of the reasons why I'm really looking forward to seeing Jessica, because Jessica's doing writing sprints in the mornings at Multiverse, and I will probably I'm just going to warn you right now, Jessica. I'll probably one of those nights have stayed up all that entire night to sit in a second to write, but I will. So I might be a little loopy, but
that's okay. We got coffee coming.
I plan on attending a lot of those sessions and writing. I have a nice layover at my plane. I'm going to write, so I'm going to take the time for me, but that's how it goes. And so, I'm sure for George R. R. Martin, that was the time when he was getting the TV deal and everything like that. So there's probably a lot of that going on too. But I get it. I understand. Fans will fan. So it's just the way it goes. But there are some events that where most buyers won't purchase the first in a series unless there are a couple, at least. Yeah, I mean, I've experienced that so many times. And then Judy said, "Lord, the middle of the book syndrome hurts the soul."
Hurts the soul. It does.
I didn't notice, Jessica, that you sell crocheted items.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And are you finding the same thing that Ben is finding, that people are there just for those, or you?
Sometimes they wander in and they'll start off looking at whatever I've got hanging out. It's like right now I'm doing creepy stuff, so I've got bats hanging out and glow in the dark stuff, and they'll start talking about that, and then they'll wander over and take a look at the book. Sometimes I'll have folks wander in just looking at the book, and and if I can get them to buy both, that's great. But a lot of times they'll end up buying the book, and that's great. It's like yesterday, even though yesterday was extremely frustrating, I sold 3 hardbacks at the table. Selling those, that's really tough.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
I was shocked to death, because usually the paperbacks are what sell.
Unless you're Richard Fierce and have these beautiful covers that you can't get the hell away. I mean, I couldn't believe he was so nonchalant about it. At that, I was like, I said, he asked me. He said, "I'm bringing 3 or 4 books to Fantasy Gather and Dragon Con, which is this little thing where all the authors get together and people walk around in a room and buy books right then and there. It's a bookseller marketplace, basically.
It's wonderful.
Within the con." And he's like, "I'm bringing 3. I was like, "Dude, bring 10. You're going to sell them out. They're so incredibly gorgeous,
Right. Right.
So, I mean, if you have that, then you should. I think that brings up something that we can talk about real quickly. Are you putting your best foot forward in this? Have you looked at that? How much time have you spent honing the marketing aspect of what you're presenting? I know Nikki and Ben, you've already talked about that a little bit, but are you aware of what people are going to gravitate toward more so, or is that tougher to gauge because of the audience? You don't know the audience. I'm curious on that approach and that perspective, because like I said, I find Richard is an incredible salesperson. I stood behind him and sat behind him and watched him go, but he devalues a lot of what he's got really good. And it's like, dude, sell this. You're going to sell these out. I promise you. These are fucking gorgeous, dude. And it's like,
I think, I don't know. I've kind of studied over the last year, and I kind of learned a lot about watching folks coming to the table, because I worked at the fall staff table for a few years.
Education.
I studied with Hartness. So if you guys know John Hartness, John can sell
oh my gosh, yes,
anything. The man can sell anything.
Yes, he's
and
wonderful.
I'm like, if I'm going to learn how to do this, I'm going to learn from the best. So I started learning from him. And am I still learning? Yeah, I'm still a student. But I can kind of gauge what people are going to go for. Not always, but I can kind of gauge what they're looking for. And a lot of it is talking, just having a conversation, just being myself. I don't even have to like, first, I think you have to figure out who you are, and you have to value what you've got on the table. I know of an author who was at Fantasy Gather, and the first thing he did with what was being sold at his table was to devalue it in front of a customer. And you can't do that. Never devalue your work.
Be your first and only fan. Truly, you've got to be your first fan to really push your stuff.
You can't say something that devalues the work, because I look at Menlo Park still, and I'm still at that stage 3 years out where I'm just stunned that it's on the table, and I'm so proud of it, and I'm like, I want people to read it, so I'm going to try to sell it. And I'm going to try to say, yes, you need to read this. This is a great adventure. And I feel that way about the anthologies I sell too, because I'm proud to be in that. I'm still happy just to be here. Right. And so I'm going to try to close the deal. So, and sometimes it's hard to close the deal because you don't know what they're thinking exactly. So I'm going to try to follow what they're telling me. So it's talking, but it's also listening to what they're saying too. How can I use what they're saying to go, okay, you really need this in your life. You need to take this home today, because you will not regret this. So you have to have that confidence. And I mean, I struggle because there's a part of me that's absolutely mortified every time somebody comes into my tent, okay, or comes to my table. There's 12-year-old Jessica who is in the back corner of my tent going, oh my God, they're looking at us.
Doing?
Why are they here? Oh my God. And then the rest of me has to take over and go, you got to sell this stuff because you don't want to take it home. I don't want to take it home. It's heavy. I can't be lifting this stuff. What are we going to do? We're going to sell it. And so you've got to listen. You've got to be friendly. You've got to be able to sell. And, a lot of it is listening and just going with their conversation and making sure that they take it away with them, and being positive about what you've got on the table is the first step. That's my thought anyway.
Yes. Being authentic is very important.
Yeah.
And people
absolutely
can feel that,
be
especially
who you
readers. Remember, readers are usually very shy, introverted people. So you want to be authentic and you want to sell, but you have to find that fine line where you don't scare them away like rabbits.
Oh, that was my first con.
Yeah.
My first con is like, ah.
I was actually sitting with a person. Yeah, and that was his thing.
You did well, but you need to calm down. You need to not step outside of the table. Maintain some distance.
There was a guy next to me, and he was, one, he's a man. Two, it was mainly these young teenage girls that would kind of come over because he was selling art, and then he would stand up and go, hey, how you doing? I'm like, first of all, one, you're a man. Remember to stand back here. These are teenage girls, so they're instantly going to be a little bit afraid of you. Yeah. So remember that. And I had to teach him. He's like, oh, and he did. It helped him to understand.
Yeah.
You're a guy. You're a big guy. Pull it back.
Don't loom.
Because you're going to scare people.
Don't loom.
And don't be look mean. I've gone to places, if the guy looks like he's like, I'm not going to go to your table because you scare me already. I'm not going to go there. Nope.
Oh, I don't get scared. Then I want to go challenge him.
I just like, no, I don't want to go. I don't have time for you.
I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to.
That's the thing. I don't have time. And yeah. So
smile.
Be happy. No, it truly is. You've got to put on the face.
Body language.
I've done enough improv to be able to read the room, know what it is I got to do.
If you're sitting and slumping and like, do you think people are going to care and want to talk to you? No, dude.
I have a friend who is a brilliant writer, but he's the most introverted person in the world, and I've done cons with him, and he just kind of sits in the corner like this. And I'm like, dude, get up, talk about your
Nice,
book. And
Sean.
I end up selling his books. I end up talking about his books. Blah, 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 blah. This is really great. Check this out. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. If we're in a booth together, I'm selling your books as much as you are. Because they'll come to me and ask, hey, do you have blankety blank? And I'll say, nope, I don't, but that person does.
Yeah.
Go check them out.
Yeah.
Because I want everyone to have a good time. I'm a Labrador Retriever. I want everyone to have a good time. I need to be more of a shark. I've worked with sharks, and they're mean. The
Yeah.
ones who you'll be talking to a person trying to get the deal going, and they'll just jump in the middle of your deal and start, yeah, but look at my book. Look at this one. Bitch, I wasn't even...
Oh, hell no.
It happened so many times. That's why I quit. There was a particular group that I used to do cons with in Tennessee, and I don't anymore because I got tired of... I'm fighting with you guys. We should be helping each other.
Yeah.
And I got tired
I don't
of
work
stuff,
with
so I
those
quit.
people.
Yeah. I like working with others. And
So-
different genres, too, is great. It's really great with
Yeah.
cross genres. So much fun.
I'm going to say something a little bit different than the group here again.
Oh, please do.
I don't care if I sell books or anything for that matter. That is, it sounds weird that I say, yeah, I have to go and I have to sell things and whatever. Now I'm saying,
Yeah.
I don't,
Because you
I don't
just
try to
told
sell
us that I'm
stuff.
here to sell the books, and now
Right.
you're telling us I'm
I
not
am.
here to sell the book. Why are you
No,
confusing me
I'm
like
there
this,
to
Ben?
sell. I
Why?
just don't try to sell. If it makes any sense. So,
He's playing hard to get. Like, yeah, I'm
Oh,
not
that's what it is.
interested
Oh,
in
he's a
you,
tease. He's a little
honey.
book
I'm not
tease.
interested in you, but I got some books. You want some books?
I
I don't
view
have
it
to sell them, but
as
you want some books?
He has
I
that
view it
nice
as
smile, though. That's what it is. He's so cute
getting
that he's
word out.
buying.
It helps.
He
I mean,
does
let's
have a
be
good
honest.
look. Yeah.
So I get people to the table. I tell them about what I got, and at that point, I just shut up. If they want to buy it, cool. If they don't, that's cool too. You know.
And that helps with
I am a
introverts,
very
'cause they'll
zero
come-
pressure. Yeah.
Oh,
Can I share? It was what you talked to me about at Dragon Con about your sales and stuff like that. Ben, is that something I can share?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but go ahead.
I watched Ben over the weekend at Dragon Con at the Mark, and he's a man amongst the people. He's very good with people. He's very good at leading them and stuff like that. And about, I don't know, probably Saturday night, Ben was talking about, you know what? I've sold a lot of other people's books, but I haven't sold any of my books yet. You know, and just the way that it happens, and it's organic like that. But you know, to Ben's credit, he was very happy. This was a good weekend for them, and they did a really good job. But it's like I think Ben's so unassuming, and it's really it's refreshing because he's really a super guy. But it's like I can see like the next weekend you did another con, and I could see, you know, or you did a selling thing, and I could see the fire, you know, was there for that. So it's kind of interesting to observe that and watch you sell other people's stuff, but you sell your stuff pretty well as well. So, you know.
Yeah. You know, this just popped in my mind when you're talking about, selling other people's stuff. But for me, like, there's like no pressure in it for me after I make my first sale. Like, once I get the first sale, it's smooth sailing from then on out. But I only feel pressure to get the first sale. Yeah. It
is.
It's like, the best thing that could happen for me is like the doors open and somebody walks up and buys something, and then it's like, okay, we're done. I'm good to go from here on out. You know.
Yeah, because you want to stay cool, and at least for me, until I get that first sale, I am twitchy, and it's like, dude, chill.
Oh yeah,
chill, and distract yourself with other stuff. If you have to walk it off, because you never want to come off desperate, and it's not desperate, but you do seem twitchy, and people are like, do you need sugar?
Right.
You need
that's when I get coffee, or if I'm snacking, that usually means I haven't had a sell yet. If it's early and I'm snacking, that means I haven't sold something yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try not to keep food in the booth because I will just the entire time. It's awful.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
a world famous snacker. So
Especially if it's slow. Like if there are people around, that's not a problem because I'm busy. But if it's slow and there's not, I'll just eat. If I have food, I'll eat everything.
oh yeah,
the entire time.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's give our audience something to snack on, shall we? And take a look at the Indie Connection, the best of version today. It is another one of those wonderful moments where you get to see CL Cannon and her the infancy of the Indie Connection, because this was one of the very first ones she did. This is the Hunger Games, everybody. Enjoy, and we'll be right back after this.
Hey guys, CL Cannon here from Fiction Atlas Press, bringing you another Indie Connection. This week I'm going to be telling you about indie books that you might enjoy if you're a fan of Suzanne Collins' The Hunger Games series. The first book I have for you is called Transient by K.M. Hill. If you could find out when you'll die, would you? Learning her expiry date doesn't sound like much of a birthday present to Ray, but it's been that way for everyone since the cryptograph was introduced. A biological algorithm developed by Silicon Valley, it can determine with precise accuracy the lifespan of every human being on the planet. Everyone gets tested when they come of age, but Ray wants to opt out. She hates how the system labels and categorizes society according to longevity, like transients, whose short lifespan automatically renders them useless. Interims, the hardworking majority, or elite constants, whose long lives guarantee opportunity and power. But when Ray's intentions to avoid the test are impeded, and her lifespan is revealed, the future seems set in stone. Or does it? The second book I have for you is called Recruitment by K.A. Riley. In the Volta, no matter what month you were born, everyone is assigned the same birthday, November 1st. It's the anniversary of the day when the government declared war on the Eastern Order. The day you turn 17, the recruiters come to take you away, and no one ever hears from you again. It's October 31st. Today, Cress is 16 years old. Tomorrow, she'll be taken. The good news? So will her best friend Carden, and Braun, the handsome, enigmatic boy she's avoided all her life. The bad news? Recruitment isn't what any of them expected. Weeks of training await, military and psychological tests, escape rooms, hand-to-hand combat. The recruits are told they're the key to winning the war, but with each day that passes, things begin to make less sense. The third book I have for you is called The Blood Race by K.A. Emmons. All Ion Jacobs ever wanted was to be normal, but when you're capable of killing with your very thoughts, it's hard to blend in with the crowd. Running from his past and living in fear of being discovered, Ion knows he will never be an average college student. But when Hawk, the beautiful, mysterious girl next door, unearths his darkest secret, Ion's life is flipped upside down. He's shocked to discover a whole world of people just like him. A world in another dimension, where things like levitation, shape-shifting, and immortality are not only possible, they're normal. Forced to keep more secrets than ever before, Ion struggles to control his powers in the real world while commuting between realms. Until his arch-enemy starts a fight he can't escape. Now he has sealed the fate of the dimension, severing their connection to the real world and locking himself inside forever. But a deadly threat hidden in plain sight may cost Ion more than just his freedom. It may cost him his life. And the last book I have for you is called Rules, The Mirror Chronicles Book 1 by Leisa, Wallace. In order to survive, you must remember who rules. Evangeline fought against the tyranny of the priestess and lost. Now she hides as a servant within the very walls of the enemy that hunts her. When a fight with a recruit forces her into training as an enemy soldier, Evangeline is forced to confront the friend that betrayed her in order to survive. Okay, that's all I have for you this week. I'll see you next week on the Indie Connection. Bye.
There there it is, another beautiful indie connection, another best of indie connection. You probably saw that one before. If you haven't, now you have. The Hunger Games. So it's unbelievable how long ago that was. Almost 6 years ago that indie connection happened, and then of course Hunger Games being a lot older at that point too. I think the last movie was coming out when we did that one. But thank you to CL Cannon as always. It's always fun to be nostalgic and see her in her car, which she no longer does that anymore. But that was the infancies of the indie connection, which is really fun to see. So Jessica, I wanted to put Jessica's comment up here. It says pushing other people's books is just the best. I did that at a book fair I did a few weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, it only benefits you to be a good human being, right? I mean, there's some karma behind that as well, right? I mean, you want to. I think that's one thing about our community that I think is really amazing is that we're there to support each other. We're not there to tip anybody's boats over and knock them into the water, So we want them to swim along with us.
We all win.
Yeah, but we have our favorite fishes because some people could care less about your books and other people do.
True. Very
sorry.
Right.
If things cross paths and coincide that they care about your work, you care about theirs, and they're actually fantastic, you're gonna pimp them out anywhere. If other people don't care or expect you because I'm more established or I have awards or that bullshit, you're gonna get unfollowed on social media by me.
Or those beautiful people who friend you and then immediately tell you to join their group or buy my book, right?
Buy my book.
Hi, do you like it? Dude, no, I don't.
No. Block.
I would have rather a penis picture, dude. At least
wish for.
No, that one I haven't gotten, and I'm not interested. I have gotten the foot massage offers because of the sock pics, and it's like, yay.
All right, again, another topic for another show. All right, I wanted to kind of bring the conversation full circle and talk about the legacy cons and the cons that you do go back to.
Right.
And I'm obviously the idea is if I sell really well there, I'd like to go back there. That's an obvious answer to that question. But there's got to be some more things to that, right? There's got to be some learning experiences or something you gathered that made you want to come back. If it's truly driven by sales, okay. But I really feel like there's the atmosphere. There's got to be something beyond just the sales, right? So when I have a twofold question. First question is what characteristics of a legacy con are you most apt to bring yourself back to, and has a con changed so much for you that you, even if you've been going for 10 years, you stop going?
Yeah. So to some degree, going back to my other answer, if the people who are running the con are doing so in what I consider to be a forward-thinking, progressive for our purposes kind of way, or if they weren't and they are now doing that, then I check. I would say, okay, yeah, let's give them a shot. I'll give you a great example. I think even if it's somewhere down the road I were up for a Dragon Award, I would not go to Dragon Con. And I know lots of people here are involved with it and love it. I despise Dragon Con. I feel like it's a bad relationship that you should all get out of. And I think primarily because of and it's not the individuals. Individuals are fine, but the crowd, right? If the people who go to a con have a certain mentality that group think when they get there, that's not going to jive with me. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna waste my time with those folks, regardless of the sales. Of course, I say that now. If I go someplace and I sell like $1,000 in a weekend, I'll probably go back. But I mean, I could also be a hypocrite. But in general, I feel like you want to be successful at what you do, and we want to be recognized for what we do. But I think you also have to enjoy the doing, not just the writing, but the interaction with readers. It has to be enjoyable as well. And if it's not, then you're really just wasting your time, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, it's all, that's all very much like, there's no hard edge to what I'm doing. It's very much the social side of a convention that brings me to it. And if they have 24-hour day anime, that's a bonus.
Oh yeah. For me, it's a social thing. I mean, I look at it and go, am I having a good time? If I'm having a good time and there are people there that I go to see because I love them, I'm going to keep going. If the con becomes toxic in some way, however, or I feel like there's enough of and what I mean by that is if I see like the folks that are running it are not treating people well, or there's something going on that is diametrically opposed to my view of the way things should be, I'm going to take some thought about going back, because people are seeing me there, and that means that they're going to think that I support whatever that con is doing that's diametrically opposed to me. And so I have to look at that because that's my image. But I mean, I go to see people. A lot of why I go is to see individuals who I love and individuals who I want to make contact with. And some of these people I only get to see during those times when we are at conventions, because otherwise they are spread all over the universe. And so that's a big decider for me.
I had to take a con out of my rotation because of the guest of honor that they chose, and that person had besmirched me before. So and it wasn't very kind to me. So I kind of was like, I don't really need to go. I mean, obviously the guest of honor thing is a little different because you don't interact with them very much, and you don't see them very much. But still, I felt like that if the con is representing that person, that's the person they chose to be the person they're putting on a pedestal, I was like, yeah, I don't need to go to this con anymore.
I wouldn't do that, no.
Right.
Yeah, for me, it's the family. If you go and you feel like you're a part of a group, and for me, that's hard. It's really hard for me to feel a part of a group, but if I feel like I'm actually accepted there and I'm respected there, I'll come back. Also, for me, it's also dealing with how well the con is run. Do they take care of you? I went to a small little con, and they had a little room for us and everything to go and just kind of relax. And that to me was like, I'm usually there's your table, sit and sling books, monkey boy. No, they were really nice. Or they're always coming by and they're checking on you, or things like that. Yes, exactly. I'll come back to a con, but for me also it's very much seeing people that I don't ever see except for at cons, and we can hang out together and actually just.
Oh, you ready for that? You ready for this energy, Nikki? You ready for it?
I am. So I've never done multiverse, so I don't know what to expect. And I'm really looking forward to meeting all the people that I've only ever dealt with here on Go Indie Now. It's gonna be really cool. I'm looking forward to it. So,
I do have some bad news.
I have no idea what you're in for.
Oh no!
I have no idea. Not a clue.
We will be up drinking till 3 a.m. though. I will just put that out there.
That does happen.
My biggest problem with AuthorCon is I love AuthorCon. My biggest problem is if you want to do any kind of real deals, really, really get into it, you've got to be up with the boys at 3 a.m. drinking. And oh God. Ugh. But yeah.
What about that? I don't do the 3 a.m. drinking either because I can't stay awake that long. But I'm up at like dark 30, so I watch them wander in and go, hey guys.
Oh, and the walk of shame on Saturday nights. Ooh,
The stumble of shame.
It's hilarious, actually. Yeah, it is a good thing we drink all day.
You all have never been around Bob, Sean, and I. There's no walk of shame. There's no walk of shame. It's like
you guys are proudly
it's a
going.
Strut.
They don't stumble either. They walk proudly and straight.
Yes, we do.
We know what's going on.
The only shame is that we should go to bed. That's the only time we ever say anything. Maybe we should go to bed. Maybe not.
One of the panels I'm doing at Multiverse like at 8:30 at night. I'm like, who the hell goes to a panel 8:30 at night?
Welcome
You're
to
going to be
Multiverse.
surprised.
People at
They
Multiverse.
pack them at 8:30
Just
at
so.
night. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I found
yeah.
that doing a panel at like it's 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning, useless. Don't. It's just no one comes because they're too hungover from Saturday night. But it happens. I did it, and also doing a panel sober. Are you insane? But no, I've done them now. I've done panels sober. So
I do them sober.
I'm sober right now, so everything's good.
Sorry to derail the conversation, y'all. I'm sure
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Ben, Sean, and JD want to chime in on this, so please.
Y'all chime away.
I mean, I share space a lot, so a lot of times, even if I'm there selling, I'm still hanging out with people that I like. So it's a social thing for me as well, same as everybody. Dragon Con specifically, going down to the Westin and hanging out with everybody after things close down is nice.
Or what's the name of the place that we went to eat at, Ben?
Torch Top.
No,
is that what it was? Are we talking about? Not Torch Top.
No, the Irish pub one that we went to.
Meehan's.
Meehan's, yeah.
Y'all need to kidnap me next year and take me over there.
I may have to go to Dragon Con just to hang out with you guys. I always apply, but I never get in because I'm not that echelon. But maybe I should just come.
And that's what Vanessa said. Dragon Con is one of those cons that I would definitely go as an attendee, pro, or volunteer. And as I do now, not as an attendee, the soft benefits are definitely worth it for me. So.
I try every year. I throw in my hat, and I never get it.
I have not been an attending pro yet. I go in and work for my publisher, and that's how I get in, and that's fine with me. So yeah, come to the writers' track and just kidnap me. I'm fine. I will go out.
We will do that. All right. JD, Sean, you want to add to this topic before we go to the next one?
Sean, go.
More drinking? I mean, no. But that gets back. I mean, that kind of gets back to the social aspect, right? If you find people, I still think that if you can find some inspiration at a convention, that's a reason to go back. If you can meet some established authors, like who you align with in some way, and who do treat you well. I've met a couple who are really great individuals. More, what we would consider to be more traditionally based publishing. And that's a chance to spend some time with them, and that's a good thing. A convention can be, and really should be, more than one thing. It can be, sales, but it can also be, that those interactions as well. And if you can make the convention work, and this is good. Legacy cons are good for this. If you can make a convention work for you on multiple levels, do it for sure.
Mm-hmm. I also think not just within what you write and who you are, if they're a bigger echelon, but anybody. I think what is the great thing about BarCon and cons in general and social interaction is that you find the best people are maybe the people you didn't expect to have a conversation with that end up having this incredible conversation with. Case in point, for me at Dragon Con, it was Bill Bridges. Me and Bill sat and talked for hours about stuff, and I was like, and Bill's totally not in a realm, he's in a realm I don't understand, right? And so, but to hear him talk and have conversations with him was just an amazing, amazing experience for me. I learned so much, and I always love when I learn stuff that's so beautiful for me. So I enjoy that. So, all right. Go ahead, Jaden.
I will be quick. I dragged you to Puerto Rico to go to the Puerto Rico Comic Con.
That was awesome.
That event is very important to me because of fellow authors, but also because of readers. I've seen kids come up to me at 13, and I've seen them graduate college, get married. On one occasion, one was like, "Can I take a picture with you and my baby?"
Wow.
So it's stuff like that. It's moments like that. People have supported me in in many ways, and they've surprised me in many ways. I've only done one event here. I've visited others, but in Puerto Rico, I've been disarmed in public. It's like, hey, you're the author of Dark Strands, and I'm like, yeah. The poem "The Box," and I'm like, yeah, I wrote that about my father after he passed away, and then this very lovely young lass who has also published books and poetry. She was like, that's the first time I was able to understand what I felt when my dad died. She said that to me in the middle of the convention. I was like, yeah, don't choke up and don't cry. But you see that, and you see people that make the effort to go to your booth, and it validates you as a person and as a writer and as a contributor to the event. Mm-hmm. And I didn't go one year, and then I went the next year, and someone said, dude, last year wasn't the same without you. And I was like, you didn't have to say that, and thank you. And because of that and so many other details, plus I had to leave Puerto Rico for the literary community to boom and burgeon. And I'm like,
one of our mutuals and one of the people at who frequently is here watching us and being a part of it, Mr. David Hernandez. When I saw him at Puerto Rico Comic Con, he was so excited to meet me, and I was like, dude, this is amazing. You know, it's like it was just beautiful. Beautiful people there. That was a really great experience. Like, can't say enough good things about that con. And it's like one of those cons that's like a con, right? It's just like one big selling room, you know. Yeah. But JD wanted to ask all of you a bonus question. How do you look at how you set up your table? So if we can be succinct and a little quick on that, I would appreciate
real quick. I have panels. I try to do things that are colorful and bring people into my, depends on how I'm set up. Like at Southern Festival of Books, we have a booth. So I try to put the tables to the side so people actually come into the booth. And if I have to have that, I have this Edgar Allan Poe stand-up guy. I'll have him outside. People will come and take pictures, whatever I can to bring them into my web. But if I'm at a con where all I have is a table, I'm very big about panels that I have behind me that just bring people towards me. I have a banner that says, "Do you like it weird?" And that tends to bring people into places, sometimes not for the reasons I want, but they come to my table. I'm just going to get them to the web.
How weird do you want me to get?
You like it? And I also find sometimes putting like candy on the table will help with kids, although I don't sell. None of my stories are for kids, but still, just little things, swag. I try to make it as colorful as possible. Again, just to bring people in. Lights, if you can get the little blinky lights around stuff, do that too. Anything, because human beings are driven towards lights, action, and color.
Yeah.
It's like being a predator.
Lights. I've learned to set if I have the tent, I set my table back so they have to walk in. I consider it a work in progress. It's never right. So I'm always working at it. And I'm always thinking about, okay, how does it look this time? I don't know. Is this working? Is this not working? So it's a work in progress. The banner is probably the thing that draws in the most people. Probably the Southern peculiarities part, I think, pulls people in the most. But I also do candy. And that the kids come in and the parents come in, and then I can talk to them.
Hey,
food,
give them what they want.
Food brings people.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, what do you think?
I think no candy on the table.
That's because you'll eat it and you'll start snacking.
Okay, that's fair. Yes, but not because of that. No, that's a pet peeve of mine. But no, I think your table setup is going to end up being a reflection of your personality. So my table is minimalist and very clean. At least if I can get it that way, that's how I like it. And it's like Jessica said, it's a constant work in progress. It looks nothing today. It looks nothing like it did, 2 years ago. And I imagine in 2 years, you wouldn't be able to recognize it either. So,
right.
Luckily for JD, he has one of the best assistants I've ever met in my life. And the captain keeps everything organized. I've literally seen somebody go on his booth, pick up a book, put it in a wrong pile. She waits. She's very good. She waits till they leave. And as soon as they leave, she's on top of it and she's moving it back and putting it all in a neat little.
Yes, my
way that
husband's
it is.
OCD. He's very good at boom, 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 boom. Yeah, he's
Which
very
I
good at
thought was
that,
just so. I just thought I joked with her a couple of times about it, but yeah, it was really great. How about for you, Sean?
So I think that this works for me best. I don't like buying from book fortresses, right? If you've got a book fortress, like I'm just not interested because you're telling me please don't come here, right? I think that having space, and you don't want the crenellations either, right? You don't want the book battlements either. You need to have space where the person can come in. If a table's too crowded, it's kind of unless I know you, I'm probably not buying a book from you. So for me, it's kind of so far a kind of minimalism that allows me to. I don't do this, but if I could very easily reach out and touch the person. And so when I stand up, which I always do almost always try to do to speak to someone, it allows them to see the full, right? It's less of a barrier between me and them. And I think Ben's point too, it should reflect your personality. So I think that the next time I set up a table, there'll be dice there. There'll be some of my role RPG stuff will be there as well, kind of like the side things, right? I'm probably never going to be a sticker person or a button person. I mean, I don't know. Flair is kind of cool, but I like picking up the flair. I don't actually like selling it. And we'll see how it goes from there.
All right. Well, I have one word of advice based upon my shirt today, which is get yourself a mascot. If you get yourself a mascot like the possum that represents Mr. Bob Magoo, you will be successful.
I'm jealous.
Mine's the crow. Yeah.
This is Bob Magoo's first book. This is his logo. So everybody, go check out Mr. Bob Magoo, please. All right, it's time for the epilogue. All right, I'm going to save you all some pain and suffering today.
Right.
I'm going to be a nice guy to make this move a little smoother. I'm going to give you a couple answers of questions you might already ask. And the first two I'm going to tell you is that the person that I am currently, the literature that it's from is of the 20th century, beginning of the 20th century, closer to the beginning than toward the end. And it was a book and a movie. All right. So you don't have to ask those questions. You now have those answers. So I will tell you those two to start off. We're going to go down the line. I'm going to go JD, Nikki, Jessica, Ben, and Sean, and you all are going to ask one question, and then it's free for all from that point forward. You all get one guess and one guess only. You make that guess and it's wrong, you cannot guess again. You can form your guess into a form of a question, as some people have tried to loophole, but you will be using a 20 question if you do that. All right. So JD, you want to start us off? And I am now the person that you are looking for.
What is your age?
I am middle-aged.
Middle.
Early middle.
Okay. I understood male age then. I'm like, what the hell is male aged?
Right.
Middle-aged. Okay.
All right, Nikki?
What's your nationality?
I think European.
Okay.
I mean, Europe is huge. I mean, what part of? I'm sorry.
I don't know. I would have to do more research on myself to know that.
Okay.
Wow.
Jessica?
Don't know yourself very well. Male or female or otherwise?
Male. Although some have classified me as that I don't exist. I'll give you that.
Huh.
Can I just guess who you are?
If you'd like.
Shakespeare?
Nope.
Nope, that's
Nope.
too. Yeah, this is the early
It's
20th.
a character, not a real person.
Oh, it's a character.
Oh,
I thought it's a
character.
person.
Okay.
Okay.
Character. Okay.
Same. Okay.
Oh, okay.
character.
Then. I know.
All right, Ben. I will
figured that
let you
because
slide. So you can ask. A question, and you still get your guess.
Oh my gosh.
I'll leave you alone with that.
Oh, yeah. All right, you're a character then. What genre are you in?
It would be literary fiction.
Are you a World
lot
War
of things-
One veteran?
I think so. Yes.
Oh crap.
I'm not sure on that, Sean. But again, I probably
But you
should have done a
don't
lot more
exist.
research on myself. But yes, I think I am. All right, free for all, y'all. So whoever wants to ask a question, you can just go ahead. You have
Do you
5.
have a beard?
Do I have a beard? No.
What is your profession?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a great question. That's going to give it away. Oh God, should I even say it? Should I be vague to move this along? I'm a philanthropist.
A philanthropist?
A millionaire philanthropist? No, it's like-
Yeah, is that a question? Are you asking me a question?
Are you a millionaire philanthropist?
Some would say. No cheating there,
Oh.
Hillman. I see you Googling.
That's not fair.
Where do you prefer to spend your time, on land or in the sea?
See, that's a tough question because it's both, but usually I'm on something when I'm on the sea.
Okay. Are you
married?
I was once, I believe. I am not in the story. I am not. The story about my life, I am not.
Okay.
Riveting video here, everybody.
Are you?
I'm sorry,
no. Are you dating
Can I
someone?
guess? Can I guess?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Are you Ishmael?
I am not.
Oh damn. Okay, so there goes
Because
Moby
he's not
Dick,
early
guys.
20th century.
exactly?
Are you dating? Are you dating a woman? Are you dating a woman?
I am. I'm not gonna expand upon that because you have to ask the other question if you want the other answer.
Is her name Daisy?
God damn it! You're gonna make me look it up now.
Okay.
I have a feeling yes.
Yeah. No. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Got it now. God damn! I guess I should have. Sorry, y'all. I should have done more research. Yeah.
See, it's riveting video, Joe.
Right.
I
Go
know,
ahead. Keep asking questions if you want. It's fine. Should I answer that question because it's going to give it away, right? If I answer that question.
It was a clever question.
I think you know already, Sean.
I think.
Are you the Great Gatsby? Are you
I am.
Jay Gatsby.
I am
Yes.
Jay Gatsby.
Okay.
Jay Gatsby.
Yes, Jay Gatsby.
Okay.
I read the
Well,
book. I didn't
yeah.
know what his name was. So.
Yeah, Jay Gatsby. Good. Okay, good.
Wow, that was quick. All right, great. That's awesome.
It did not feel quick. It felt like it was.
That was a good one,
Quick
though.
as anybody's got it,
That
by the
was
way,
good.
everybody. So,
Yeah, Gatsby's a good one.
Yeah.
Good.
I
good one.
almost so to be honest with you, because I was looking at Great Con Man, because Con game, right?
Yeah, con. Okay.
I almost went with Tom Ripley, but I thought that was probably too vague for everybody.
That's
so,
too vague.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think everybody knows
Vague.
about Mr. Ripley.
That's
Vague.
probably where I would have diverted to if like the Gatsby questions hadn't worked out. But
Yeah. I mean, Ripley is more closer to the end of the 21st century,
Right.
20th century. So,
Right.
Great Gatsby is 1920s.
Yeah, 25.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't know the answer to that question. If anybody was going to ask today, I didn't know when the novel came out, but
And what's your favorite color? What was his favorite color?
I'm guessing gold.
Don't
Green.
remember.
Green.
Okay.
Remember the green light at the end of the
Oh yeah. Okay.
At the yeah.
end of
I
the
gotta
All right.
reread that. It's been a
All
while.
right. Let's go around the horn and say goodbye and tell everybody where you can find you, Mr. Hillman. You start us off.
so again, I'm SM Hillman professionally, and you can find my blog and other stuff on social media at thewickedvoice.com. You can also find me here as occasional host of This Week in Indies, which I think next week I will be. I am the host of Zero Means You're Dead, and we're finishing up another episode of that. And I occasionally I host, but I occasionally play and occasionally GM for Hit the Dice, which is our monthly indie RPG show, actual play.
Awesome. All right, Mr. Meeks.
Hey, you can find me everywhere as author Ben Meeks. I'm in the process of rebranding to Chisel and Quill, but that's not complete yet. So currently, both things are in the works. But author Ben Meeks is safe, or look at my website, Chisel and Quill, and check out my book. This is my sales book, Art of Selling Books, where we talk about everything we talked about today and more.
Nice. Awesome. All right, Jessica.
You can find me at jessicannettlesauthor.com and on Facebook and Instagram, Steampunk English. Come check me out.
Awesome.
Oh, me. You can find me at my website, nnhbooks.com. I'm on all the social medias from Facebook to X to even have a TikTok out there somewhere. I will be at Multiverse in a couple of weeks. And then after that will be the Southern Festival of Books in Nashville, if you haven't been in Nashville. And then after that, in 2025, I will be a vendor and panelist at AuthorCon. And then after that, I'll be at StokerCon, but just as a person who's just going to StokerCon.
Nice. Where's StokerCon this year?
It's going to be in Connecticut. Stanford, Connecticut.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, but they got, I think, for their
Is that
guest
close
of
to
honor, they've
Salem?
got Joyce Carol Oates for their guest of honor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that close to Salem?
No.
Oh, okay. No.
Salem's
Not close enough.
Salem's okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sure they've done it at Salem.
AuthorCon used to be AuthorCon's always in Williamsburg. NeCon used to be up towards Salem. And
Well, I was
whenever
thinking
go to
StokerCon
NeCon,
had to have done Salem once upon a time.
I would pop up to Salem just because I wanted to go to Salem, and then I did Salem. Now I've done it, and I've done it.
Right, Jade?
Greetings, fellow humans. Look for JD Estrada right at social media. If I'm on that social media, you will find me with that handle. If you want to finish, if you want to read a finished series, The Human Cycle is finished. It's 3 books. Listen to this. That's a hefty series. It is Hispanic Heritage Month. So if you want to try to read Spanish, I do have horror in Spanish. And if you just want something horror and a little bit ooky, I have Wicked Nursery Rhymes. So by all means, look me up, send me a message. Don't be creepy.
No dick pics or feet questions for JD.
No. Banana questions, yes.
Well, depends on the banana question. But
True.
All right, everybody. You've welcome to Go Indie Now. You found us. Congratulations. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. I wanted to mention on Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, I will be sitting down for our season finale of The Spotlight on the Multiverse with the one and only person that I could ever have as my season finale for the entire hour, the programming director at Multiverse, the right track director at Multiverse, the one and only Vanessa Junta. And please come ask your questions. Everything you want to know about Multiverse will be answered in this show. So definitely come and join us and ask your questions. If you're on the East Coast and it's too late for you on a Monday night, I totally understand that. Send your question to me. You can always DM me or email me at Joe Compton at goindienow.com. I will make sure your question gets answered. And what I will do after the show, I will tag each question with a time tag so that you can go directly to your question. If you've asked a question, I will have your question directly tagged so you can go directly to the moment that we ask your question and have it answered. So please do so. We would love to have those questions for you. Then the following Monday, Vanessa Junta sits down with Multiverse guest of honor, Lauren Brown, who is an artist and some of the most gorgeous things you'll ever see on canvas and on paper and everywhere else you can put art. And she's a wonderful guest, and that'll finish up our Multiverse coverage as we head that week into Multiverse which, of course, next Sunday, Sean will be hosting a show, and then we will be live from Multiverse the following weekend, live in Studio 42 at Multiverse for the Multiverse Convention live show. And we've got so much more going on. Like Sean mentioned, we have a Zero Means You're Dead episode to put out there. We have the final season of Words That Kill, some more episodes of that, and many, many more things going on. So please come and join us at Go Indie Now. Follow, subscribe, hit that like button, and remember, everybody, it is always time to go indie now. See you next time.